Here we go. First round of today's tournament. For red team, we have the Who Needs a Map, piloted by Steam Brains. It is a Hades dual light flak module with 2 Banshees on the outer wings. Their ally is the Kutendel, Shrike with left side Lumberjack Mercury, right side Gatling Hwacha. Their opponents, the Skyborne Rangers, we have the Victor Magnuson, Magnate, left side Hades Mercury, Heavy Flak, right side Gatling Mortar and Hwacha, and finally their ally, the Snordstoop Bopstop. Judgment, Lumberjack in the front, Mercury light flak on the lower deck, and finally a Minotaur on the right side. So a bit of a divergence from what we've been seeing in, particularly on this map on Fjords in the past few weeks. We've been seeing a lot of aggressive style, an aggressive style of play where teams bringing Stormbreakers, bringing Shrikes, Goldfish, that sort of thing, charging to the center map, a lot of spawn camping, a very aggressive rush style of play. But here, both teams, all ships kitted out with long-range loadouts. So, you know, and there was a time where people were maybe a bit sick of long-range defensive play, but at this point in 2018, it's a bit of a divergence from what we usually see. However, despite the long-range loadouts the blue team has decided to bring, Victor Magnuson has positioned themselves very aggressively towards red team's spawn point, already fighting at Candy Mountain. Snordstoop, Bopstop now moving in with the Lumberjack. Currently hasn't knocked out any balloons just yet. Who Needs a Map, I think, is probably going to Hydrogen, knocking out the Mobula's balloon. And these are also a lot of slower ships that cannot reposition very quickly, so where the point at which they decide to set up and hold is going to be very important. The Kutendel is really the only ship that can very quickly maneuver around if the red team decides they find an opening where they feel that the Skyborne Rangers are weak. The Shrike could certainly try to move into position and try to capitalize somewhere behind them. But aside from that, I feel like we're just going to have very much a straightforward battle of inches here, with the teams pushing forward, Lumberjacks going back and forth, balloons being knocked out, and teams trying to just eke out small advantages. Advantages in verticality, advantages in positioning, in component health. And now Kutendel has moved forward to try to get better angle. Red team, the Altruistic Armada, holding a little bit closer to the terrain than blue. Blue relying more on the soft cover of the clouds. Now, Victor Magnuson has exposed themselves to both the red ships, but they are, in doing so, have managed to put out enough damage to kill the Shrike, despite the fact that the Snordstoop was not even engaged in that battle at all. But they do now have a good angle on the Who Needs a Map. And Who Needs a Map, probably if they want to get away here, are going to have to charge underneath the mountain range. There is a red spawn point just north of here. So it's possible that if they're able to escape and maybe use the verticality of the Mobula to dodge some of the incoming fire, they can stay alive long enough for their ally to assist. You see the Kutendel has already spawned in right here, but Mobula has lost their armor. Oh, and those mortar shots just doing a ton of damage from the Victor Magnuson. Once the Skyborne Rangers, they came in pretty slowly and utilizing that medium to long range fire, but once they had the advantage, once they took down one of their opponent's ships, they continued to push into the red team spawn. And that's one of the advantages of using one of the split ships like a Magnate, or it's sort of like the modern Galleon, where if you get into a situation where you can play aggressively, suddenly you also have a lot of close range firepower in addition to the long range side. Who Needs a Map has spawned in behind Candy Mountain. Spot's going down, so the Mobula's location is known to the Skyborne Rangers. And it seems like positions have been swapped a little bit, with red team being forced out of their own spawn. A reasonable Hwacha connection, taking down most of the components of the red Shrike. Not able to do much damage, but I think the mortar will be possibly enough to finish them off. Armor does get rebuilt. They are ducking down. Those mortar shots can be pretty difficult to hit on some of these smaller, fast targets like the Shrike or the Squid, or even the Stormbreaker, so it's not necessarily a guaranteed kill in the way that you might see on the front of a Gat Mortar Pyramidion. It's a little bit more difficult to shoot mortar off of a broadside ship, like a Magnate. But this is probably going to be the kill here. Third point in the board for Skyborne Rangers. Who needs a map? They have the rear of the Magnate, but there's not doing a lot of damage. You see almost all of those Hades shots going into the balloon. And now, dual focus between the two blue ships. Mobula goes down. That's 4 points on the board. And I wonder where Altruistic Armada is going to spawn here. They do have plenty of time, so if Altruistic Armada wants to continue pursuing a more conservative strategy, they definitely have the time to do so. Still 13 minutes on the clock. And currently looks like blue team is pushing towards the south spawn, covering these the two southmost spawn points to the north and south of where they're currently located, but red team taking the northmost spawn in H4. Which means they're going to get a little bit of time to try to do something with these long-range guns. Although I don't see a straight-up fight, long-range fight, really working out for them. Not only does blue team have a more significant armament of long-range weapons, with Kudendal only able to bring 2 weapons on each side, versus the Judgment, which has 4, and the Magnate, which has 3. Skyborne have some of the best long-range gunners in the modern game, so picking any sort of a sniper battle with a team comprised of Skyborne members is it's a tough ask. And now Kudendal has moved in, pushing forward very aggressively. They got a good Hwacha connection on the Victor Magnuson, but are not going to be able to do any follow-up damage. Who needs map coming in from behind? Looks like target's going to be the Magnate. As you see now, Hades shots hooking into the Magnate's hull. To some extent, they've disrupted the Skyborne Ranger's positioning, and Victor Magnuson taking big damage from the light flax. Look at that, 90% permahull. Armor's just finally rebuilt. Next armor break, going to be it for the Magnate. Only 1 light flak is going to have to connect here. And they do take it down. Finally, Altruistic Armada, they have an advantage in this fight. Snortstoop is a Judgment. They can tank for a while if they want to, but certainly not going to be able to escape from this situation. One of the slower ships in the game. Although they might just get a kill on Who Needs a Map. It's certainly possible. Kudendal needs to engage. They need to hit him with a nice Hwacha barrage very quickly here. Map's balloon is down. They're taking damage from the ground. Hwacha comes out. Snortstoop able to pick up the 5th kill for the Skyborne Rangers. They will be moving on to our winners finals to be playing against the Fancy Cloud Dancers. And we're going to go switch to that in just a few minutes.